This video is brought to you by Critical Language Service.
Assalamu alaikum. In this section, we will cover Alif maqsoora. Alif maqsoora is also called Alif bisurat al-ya, meaning Alif in the shape of a ya. It is a spelling variant of Alif and can only come at the end of the word. Here you see Alif maqsoora is circled in the word ila. It is important to know that the only difference between ya and Alif maqsoora is that there are two dots on their ya. When a long vowel alif occurs at the end of a word, it is usually spelled with Alif maqsoora. The classic example of this is the word Mona. Mona is a common girl's name, and it ends with long vowel alif, but we write it in the form of Alif maqsoora. Non-Arabic words and names are not spelled with Alif maqsoora, such as Rusia, America, Anna. Alif maqsoora comes in two forms. In non-connected form, we write it like this. An example for this would be the name Najwa. In its connected form, we write it like this. A good example of this would be the name Layla. An interesting thing is that the name Layla, you can find it in all languages. Alif qasira, which means short alif, but in the book it is translated as Dagger Alif, and it is short alif because, as you see, it is very short line. It is pronounced exactly like the long vowel alif. A good example of this would be the word Allah, which means God. Now we write the Alif qasira on top of shadda and the letter lam. Another good example would be the word hada, which means this. And here you see the Alif maqsoora on the letter ha. Here another example, the word lakin, which means but. And you can see the Alif qasira on the letter lam. And the last example is the word هذه. The Alif qasira is on the letter ha. In Arabic, we have Fusha and Ammiya. Fusha is a formal language. The formal language is mainly used in education, when the teacher teaches, or if you want to show that you are educated, and in a professional setting you use the formal Arabic. But formal Arabic is not used in a day-to-day conversation. That is spoken Arabic. In spoken Arabic, for instance, the way I talk with my brother, I talk with my mother, I talk spoken. If I talk to them formal, they would laugh at me. If you go to, for instance, to an Arab country and talk with the people in the street formal Arabic, they might wonder why you are talking like that. So in spoken language, it's there is more social identity. And the other thing is that you can identify the people by their dialects. For instance, like United States, you can identify people from Texas, then people from New York. Also, Arab people, when they speak, we can tell if the person is from Lebanon or from Syria, or even in Syria if he's from Damascus or from Aleppo. And I like personally to listen to the Syrian songs rather than listening to Egyptian songs, for instance, because I can emotionally connect to them. And I would suggest you to listen to the Syrian songs, singers like George Wassouf, I like him a lot. And one interesting thing I want to tell you is that every nation thinks their dialect is the best. For instance, when I speak with the Lebanese, they say, oh, we have a nicer dialect than you Syrian. And the Egyptian, they think they have the best dialect because they have very widespread, soap opera. But we Syrian are also now improving, and we have better soap opera and different series. And the funny thing about Arabic is that every country, they think their Arabic, their dialect, is closer to Fusha. For instance, the Lebanese, they say, our dialect is closer to Fusha than any other Arab countries, or the Egyptian, or the Syrian also say that. Definite endings. You probably have seen the short vowels Dhamma, Fatha, Kasra, and the last letters of word in Arabic. Here we explain for you why you see those short vowels at the last letter. These short vowels had grammatical roles, which you will learn in the next book, and they are only written on definite nouns and adjectives. One important thing to know is that these short vowels will not change the meaning of the word, and they're only used in formal situations and only written in fully voweled text. For example, the word Assalamu alaikum. You can see the short vowel Dhamma on the last letter of the word Salam. So if the word is the subject of a sentence, it is Talibu. And the Dhamma is written on the last letter Ba. The other form is Al-Talibi. And here Kasra is used at the final letter Ba. And this indicates that the word is an object of preposition, which means that this word comes after preposition. The third form is Al-Taliba. You see here Fatha at Ba, and the presence of Fatha in the final letter indicates that the word is object of a verb. And the most important thing to know is that all of them means Al-Talib, which means student. Excuse me, the student. Tanween is a type of indefinite grammatical ending. Tanween comes in three forms: Tanween Fatha, Tanween Dhamma, and Tanween Kasra. First, Tanween Fatha, it comes above the letter and it's written two Fatha side by side, and we pronounce it an. Let's take a look at the word Kitab. Normally, without Tanween Fatha, it's simply pronounced Kitab. But when we add Tanween Fatha, it becomes Kitaban. Another type of Tanween is Tanween Dhamma, and it is written in two forms. One is writing two Dhamma next to each other, like this. The other type is writing Dhamma with tail, which I personally use it a lot. And it's pronounced on. For instance, again in the word Kitab, when we add Tanween Dhamma, we pronounce it Kitabun. This type is Tanween Kasra, which we write it two Kasra next to each other, like this. For instance, the word Kitab, when we add Tanween Kasra, we pronounce it Kitabin. An important note here is that Tanween doesn't change the meaning of the word. So Kitab is the book. And the other important note is that sometimes Alif serves as a seat for Tanween, as it was served before for Hamza. We will cover that in the next slides. The word Tanween derived from the name of the letter Nun, and it is used only in formal Arabic and in fully vowel text. And it's very important to know that we use it for indefinite words. For instance, if a word have L, we don't use Tanween. We don't use al-kitaban or al-kitabin or al-kitabun. We only use it for indefinite words like kitab, a book. So it becomes kitaban or kitabin or kitabun. And a special note about Tanween Fatha is that it comes in two different forms. Unlike other Tanween endings, it can occur on indefinite nouns and adjectives. Let's take a look at the example of second kind of Tanween. So the first word is shukran. And the second word is afwan. And the next one is marhaban. And the last one, ahlan wa sahlan. And these are very common words that used everyday speech. Of the three Tanween endings, it is the only one you will see in unvoweled text and the only one used in everyday speech. Arabic handwriting differs from print in several important ways. One example that you've seen me writing a lot is joining of dots into a bar, like the letter ta, which you can write it like this. Other example is the letter sheen. In handwriting, we don't write the three teeth. Instead, we write a straight line like this. And we connect the three dots like this. It's easier, isn't it? Handwriting varies according to both regional and personal style. For meme, for instance, we write it like this or like this. And ha can be written like this. And when it's written like this, it comes underlined and all the letters before or after it come underlined too. And the letter ha also can be written like this above the line, and the letter which comes before it, it's above the line, and the letter which comes after it, it's underlined, like this.
أهلا وسهلا، اسمي جورج وأنا من مدينة القاهرة.
Calligraphy is an important form of art in the Middle East in both modern time and old time.